We've seen steadier prices here on the floor of the LME this morning for the base metals markets, but going into the afternoon session, the markets have just turned a little bit back from their highs. They've paired those gains, and although still steadier, most of them are nearer the lows of the day than the highs. The strength this morning, well, it followed a two-day mini sell-off, a mini correction on the downside, principally led by the copper market, of course. And initially we saw some very firm levels coming through. Copper was up over 2% at one point in Asia. And this was against the background of a feeling that the correction had perhaps run its course, as well as some firmness in the euro. The other metals followed suit as well. So they moved up, tested the day's highs. Round about mid-morning, prices then started to pull back. What we've seen going past midday and into the afternoon session is the euro has lost some of its gains. That optimism in the single currency about efforts to stem the sovereign debt crisis in Europe, that seems to be fading slightly, and the euro is back under pressure from the strengthening dollar, as has been the case for most of this week. So in the case of copper, which as we say was up over 2% at one point, today it's given back over $100 of those early gains. It's trading around about $9,050 a tonne at the moment. Some pressure coming through in the rings that have just finished behind me, some pressure coming from cash selling and an easing in the backwardations. The tightness is less intense now coming up towards the end of the week, certainly than it was at the beginning of the week. And copper, although still steadier, looks like it may well test 9,000 on the downside again if the current trend of a drift is maintained. There's very little data out this afternoon from the US, so the trading session towards the end of the day, business towards the close, the end of the week, might get a little bit choppy, end week considerations coming into play. But on balance, markets are steadier. Looks like they'll probably hold those gains going into next week, when business is going to be perceptibly slower in the run-up towards the Christmas and New Year holidays. This is Martin Hayes for Fast Markets on the floor of the LME.